all the comedians. Yeah, they all played there. Milton Berle, all the comedians, all the playwrights, all the folks that were before they became famous actors were doing Broadway shows there. You see everybody from Billy Crystal to Doris, just everybody.
Right.
And to stand on that stage was quite an honor. And though it was almost intimidating, it was so huge because there's like it was just a duo. It was me and my drummer, so he generally is standing right next to me, and he's on a riser about 8 feet up and about 30 feet away. Hey there, and everything's gilded. The audience wraps around the entire balcony all the way to the stage, so no matter where you look, you can't get a bad seat, or you can from a performer's point of view. It's just wonderful to see everybody, and to go out there and hear people yelling, from Washington that came down. It was pretty amazing. And
from what I understand, you, Nick Vigarino, and Randy Oxford were 2 of the final 4 or 8.
Well, the way it is it all breaks down. It's to there were 15 venues or 15 acts in each venue, and I think there was something like 11 or 12 venues that went on every day, and you only play 25 minutes. And you have 5 minutes to change over. 2.5 to get off, 2.5 to go.
Wow.
And you get docked. So that's how many acts. You can think about that.
You just go.
And then after 2 days of quarterfinals of all these venues with all these acts, then they cut a lot of guys at that point, and they already had to win to get there, and then they cut you, or bump you up, that is, to the semifinals. Then when you're in the semifinals...
were you nervous, though? Were you sweating it when you were there, going through all the...
the thing is, you use their gear, and so you don't know what you're going to get. And when you start out in the quarterfinals, it was pretty good gear, but, there's rumors about guys that would do weird things like sabotage their stage after you're done so that you don't sound good or everything.
Right. Treble up, bass down.
Yeah, or stab the bottom of the stair, or bang the tube in the back of the head. But serious stuff.
So you obviously didn't get sabotaged then?
No, it was great. The only thing I think I was a little tentative on the finals, only because I was singing so much. And I'll put it this way: after I won the semifinal, I was ordering ribs and beer at 5:30 a.m.
All right.
And they're there in 9 minutes, the best you ever ate. And then to get a beer at 5:30 in the morning is great. So then, so I was a little worried. I had to work, I was a little subliminally suspect about that part.
Right.
And we were the first act to play on at the Orpheum. So, and the judges weren't there, and I had to literally sit there for 15 minutes. It was a little odd. It would have been nice to have been up a little further instead of sitting. Yeah, we had sat there for 15 minutes waiting for one of the judges was missing, or they couldn't find him or something. But it was absolutely. And the thing that I love the most is a friend of mine who I was on tour with 9 years ago they won from Germany. First time somebody from out of the country won. There were 18 countries represented.
Wow.
And Mark Brettfeller, a good friend of mine that I used to tour Germany with, won. Him and Eric Schroeder. Well, his name is Georg Schroeder. His proper name. And I didn't even know he was at the Daisy, which is like the Moore Theater or something here, and there's a big jam going on, and I thought, man, that sounds like Mark, and sure enough, here it is. He's doing it, and it's like, I said, what are you doing? Oh, Nick, it's so good to see you. We are going to be in the competition. I said, yeah. Then we went to the Orpheum, and it just hit me. I said, oh, you're doing a duo, and they're really good. Really, they work very, very hard. But it was the best thing about it is the soul. The most important thing to bring back here is the soul of the city is just amazing. I mean, nobody bullshits nobody. If you're not if they're tired, they were going to serve you, they'll say, man, I'm tired, man, that woman just beat the hell out of me, and I'm going to tell you, but what can I get for you, man? Come on. And they're really friendly, they're really down home, and very good food. And it's just very soulful. I mean, there's no bullshit. That's what I like about it.
It sounds just like a complete blast.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely was. Every single bar, it was right around 3 a.m. We walked into a bar, and they were having a jam till 5 a.m. They started their jam.
So they can stay open after 2 then?
You walk in the streets with beer all day, all night if you want. And
just beer at 5:30 in the morning. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna have
that was inside, yeah. But you could walk down the street. There's an Irish pub that actually sells you a 1-gallon plastic bucket of beer if you want. I saw a couple guys, But And then they won. There's 2 or 3 places, and the sign must be the same owner, and it's called Big Ass Beer. And that's amazing. But we walked in there, and this amazing band came out of L.A. All black guys, killer guys. I didn't know if they were in a competition or not. They walked in very humbly, plugged in, and just spanked my ass. Man. They kicked. They
Really?
What amazing.
Was their? Do you remember their name or their group name?
Looked at the. I think it was Alex something. They were from LA. And then you look, and they give you a book of all the people that are contested, and so he was in it, and he had worked with everybody from Michael Jackson to Dr. John. So those are, and some of the people were supposed to be non-signed, which means that you could have been on a major label and maybe didn't, or your contract was up, and then you're eligible, because there were definitely major. Carlos De Junco was there, and I know he was on Virgin Records. Tracy Nelson, Bob Margolin was playing. There were some top international acts that were playing. I mean, I've been lucky enough to get around the world some. So,
well, when we heard that you had placed, you and Randy, we were in home. I didn't go. Kevin went, who's shooting the video right now. He was there, and a few other of my friends were there. And when I heard the news that you had placed, and Randy, I was like, wow. And I think it was the first time in history that it was 2 Washington local bands.
I don't know if anybody's went to the finals. I don't know that. I know that it definitely. Yes. Because there's only 8 in each category, and there was just who knows how many dozens of bands before they even got to get the Memphis, And then you talk to these guys, and you go through all of that, and then to get there and to play one time, and then get and say that's it, you can't move on in there. And then all those guys are there all week long because they're, but everybody's very good spirited. Especially the local folks. It's just a funky ass, and it's the history. No matter what direction you look, you got all the Martin Luther King stuff that'll make you cry if you want to go to the museum. You got Graceland, of course, with all the Elvis stuff. Sun Studios, Stax Records Museum. There's Gibson.
It's all the history.
This is all walking within a few blocks. Then there's, then I'll tell you. I was at the King's Palace, which is not to be confused with B.B. King's place across the street. I was there way before his. What we were doing is, it was completely closing up. It was like 4 a.m. We're talking to the owner, and we started talking. Make a long story short, there were only 2 pictures of Robert Johnson ever taken, and one of them is a promo shot with a hat, and the other one he's kind of like, the backdrop is a little funky, and we started talking about it, and they were taken in Memphis, and Stephen Levere who's a documentarian elite of all, he's got probably the biggest collection of blues photos, was digging around there in the 70s looking because he had heard this rumor, and he found those pictures upstairs to where I was sitting. The guy took me upstairs and showed me where they assumed that they're pretty damn close to where Robert Johnson actually was up there taking pictures. And there's another history, there's another part. Photography, a lot of that was, there was a lot of development there, especially from the certain contingencies had just started to develop there in the photo world. There's a whole history there too. So, and I think it was in he died in the 30s, 8 or something. So it's pretty cool to go up there and sit. Not too many people.
The heart and soul of it all.
Oh God! I mean, everywhere you go, I'm sitting there eating ribs, and this beautiful black gal. We start talking. She's going on. Yeah, I figured you was in the blues thing, and then all the Memphis accents, And she goes, yeah, my uncle plays blues, and my granddaddy, and I said, are you from here? She goes, oh, yeah. She goes, yeah, I'll have to come see if I get a chance to hear you. She goes, yeah, they even got a picture on the wall over across the street of my granddad. I said, really? I said, well, maybe I know him. Who knows? He goes, oh, it's Luther Allison and my uncle Bernard Allison, which are part of the history of blues. She's like. She grew up with them. I remember taking a cab to Graceland once, and the guy that picked me up was about a 77-year-old black. I mean, they're very serious about blues.
Sure.
The hotel music at the Ramada Inn is going, Johnny Hooker going, with fiddles and violins going, going,
You're in the mecca of it.
Yeah. And the guy's got blues on it. I stayed up all night, was drinking all night till 7 in the morning, went to Graceland in the car, and he's got blues on. And I go, oh, there's a little Milton. He goes, yeah, that son of a bitch owes me $50. And he goes, I got a little Milton, Rufus Thomas and him, they used to always play cards and this scab driver, you know? And it's just amazing. It's just really, really amazing. And they treat you good. It's just a very, very soulful city.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm really happy.
Tell us a little bit real quick about what you got going on now in Washington State. You're back home. You come home. Now, did you win an award? Was it a plaque?
No.
Was it a trophy? Was it just a...
The way this works is you either win or you don't. That's all you do. And there were 8 of us that were in the finals. First place, the only place I did not get, that went to Mark Brettfelder and Georg Schroeder. But so I didn't win anything other than the fact of going to doing the Orpheum Theater and making a lot of connections for other shows.
Sure.
But if you would have won, it never used to be like this. Now they're actually giving you like a certain amount. I think they give you like $1,500 cash, and then you get to do a boat cruise in the Caribbean, playing, and then in Italy, there's a gig in Italy that they provide. So there's a lot of stuff like that. It's very, very cool. I mean, just the people you meet, it amazes me. I mean, guys will come up from other countries. I've been fortunate enough. I've played in about 13 countries around the world over the years, and you don't even think about it because you get so Americanized that you don't consider this as you forget it's an international, you know. And then like the first guys we were competing against were from Finland. And they were doing John the Hooker type boogie really well, you know. I mean, really well, because you know it's amazing how much the Polish guys. There was a couple bands from Poland. Kind of funny when you hear them singing the blues and they got that twang, twang. You know, it's a little funny, but the music is just killer. You know, I mean, they're really all about the music. I mean, they really do it. They really get very serious about it. French. There was some French guys that I heard. There was an East Indian blues band and an Israeli blues band.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was one from Iraq that I didn't get. I wish I didn't get to hear them, but it's pretty amazing, and it really is.
What do you got going on up here? I know you've been playing up here for forever. I met you a few years back and had you at Madison and caught up with you for the seed paper and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I've caught you all around doing benefits, raising money. I've seen you play all your different shows in Seattle, blues jams. I mean, you have so much going on. Is there anything you want to... Where can people find you at?
Wow, the best thing to do is probably the web. It's just nickvigarino.com. Okay. Or you can Google it if you want to see what I do before you even come out. There's all kinds of YouTube type stuff. And then there's a Facebook fan page also. And that's probably the best. There's actually a 24-hour hotline you can call that thing too.
You got your own hotline?
Yeah, it's been for years and years.
Did you get a free beer if you call the hotline?
Yeah.
So, guys, Nick Vigarino, second place at the International Blues Festival Challenge.
Yeah, it's actually really not. There's really not a second place, but it's
right. But you got second.
Well, we're in the top eight of the whole thing.
Right. So check him out, Nick Vigarino. Nick, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're going to catch up with you, and we'll get some more of your shows filmed.
Sounds good.
Get your videos up and help promote you.
Absolutely,
man. We support you, and we love you, man.
Oh, well, thank you.
Appreciate you being here. See you to Seattle. Check him out, man. Nick Vigarino.